Are you ready? Let's go. Ready?
Ready.
Yeah, ready when you are.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Holden Shepherd, Heidi Anderson, Jan Latta, Alison Patterson, welcome to my little show.
Why do you call it a little chat show?
Jan Nichols, Sam Eichen, Annabelle Smith, Donna Mazza, Rebecca Watson, Jonelle Fraser, Tracy Jacobson, Adam Wallace, Monique Mulligan, Matt Glover, Karen Young. I don't even know where I'm going with this. Welcome to my show. Now, before we meet our guest, Inspiring Kids Home Edition is now available. Now, this is the Inspiring Kids course that I've designed specifically for kids with autism, with ADHD, dyslexia, learning difficulties, anxiety, disability. It's designed for these kids to feel okay about who they are. This is that big self-acceptance thing that is so important, because there's nothing out there that kids can watch, like a program or anything like that, that says directly, hey, you are amazing just the way you are. You are fantastic and you are an amazing human being. That's what this program does. Plus, that's module 1, module 2, 3, and 4 goes through emotional regulation, so to manage those big emotions like anxiety or anger, and talk about encouraging empathy, resilience, and obviously creativity. So, Inspiring Kids Home Edition is now available, and I'm realizing even in homeschooling communities, there's a big gap, because you can call it the social and emotional learning for homeschooling communities. It is now available. So just go to my website down here and take a look around, and this will be, I think, play a big role and make a big difference to the lives of many, many, many kids. Okay, let's meet our guest for today's episode, and it's Yolanda Alvares. Now, Yolanda runs Empowered Parenting and is an empowered parenting consultant and coach. She's also the author of Abundant Motherhood, Empowering Mums to Empower Their Kids, and Yolanda runs workshops in Melbourne and online around the world. Now, I wanted to talk to Yolanda about parenting, because it's something that obviously I'm interested in, because I'm interested in the welfare and helping kids thrive in life. And so the best place to start would be, let's talk to a parenting coach. And this is a fascinating interview. You will not expect to go where it goes. So sit back, pour a glass of wine, cup of coffee, what do you want to do? And let's get to know Yolanda Alvares. Yolanda, thank you so much for being on my show. How are you going?
I'm doing well in this moment. Thank you.
Well, as you know, I'm passionate about kids and about making sure that kids get the best upbringing possible. And so I wanted to talk to you, a parenting expert, about how parents can sort of be better parents, be more conscious about their parenting, but just so vital to just giving kids that great foundation in life. But I thought, let's start our conversation with discussing how you came to be a parenting coach. Are you able to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So my parenting coaching journey or mentoring journey really started with my own journey as a parent. I am a single mom of a 21-year-old and a 16-year-old. And I was a completely different mom with both those kids. Of course, I'm still the same mom to them now. But as my oldest began her journey with me, I was a completely different mom, and I wasn't liking initially I didn't like what I saw in her. And along the path, I didn't like what I saw in me. It wasn't the parent that she needed. It wasn't the parent that I wanted to be. And she had no clue how much I absolutely loved her to bits. And she couldn't know that, because my actions didn't align. I had these task lists that I had to accomplish. I had things to do. I had my own personal goals that I felt like I was failing in. And I was very unhappy on the inside. And I projected this whole different person on the outside. And she was facing the consequence of my own imbalance within myself. And as I started to focus within myself, I started to do more. I started a business on the side. I thrived in my day job. I thrived in the business that I was setting out. And I noticed that she started to change. And in that time between thriving in the business, thriving in myself, there was a lot of guilt because I was focusing on myself, thinking that, oh, I've left this child now. I was taking off on trips, going on these business mentorship programs and doing all of this work within myself and to promote my business and things like that. And I realized, oh my God, what if I'm not being the mom? I'm not doing my mom duties. I wasn't able to pick her up from school today. I wasn't able to do this, and I wasn't able to, and I had all of this side voice, this little voice in my head. However, I still chose me. And what I noticed as a result, Josh, is that she evolved. It was what she needed me to be more to me. I was coming back to her a happier mom. I was no longer projecting my own, I'm not good enough to her. So she no longer was showing up as not good enough. I was able to see a new side of me, which allowed me to hold up a mirror and show her who she truly was in my eyes. And she just lived up to that, to the expectation that she had for herself. And she knew I had faith and belief in her.
Wow. I find that fascinating because it's the energy in you changed. Really, when you started to focus on yourself and allowing yourself to be who you are, because I know that. And look, I speak to a lot of mums, and it's the old adage that a mum has to sacrifice everything for her family, and then she puts herself last. She puts her emotional needs last, puts her physical needs last, and everything is expended on the family. And then at the end of it, 20 years or 30 years of parenting, whatever they got left, they find themselves just lost and going, I don't know who I am anymore. So what you're saying is that by changing the energy and focusing on allowing you to be you, that shift affected your daughter.
She was still a priority for me, Josh. I'm not saying that mom should go off and do their own thing and leave the kids and don't feel any guilt. I think that guilt was useful as well to always keep her in the loop. She came on just last night, she was saying, Mom, I think that was pretty crazy how I went to all these networking events with you. I was the only little child there and I loved it. I would speak to all these adults and so she was very intrigued in what I was doing, and she still is to this day. My kids are very instrumental in the businesses I run because it is important for me to do it for them.
Yep.
Because they learn, and we're constantly modeling to our kids. We cannot say to them, be your best self and go out there and take those chances and step out of your comfort zone, question your fears. And, we can't be asking them to just words. They need to watch us doing the same.
Yeah, and that's the big thing is the modeling is huge. So how can parents then be more conscious about how they parent?
They need to come back to themselves. To be more conscious, they need to be conscious about the actions that they take with their kids. They need to go back to being conscious even to the beliefs they hold, become conscious about the past experiences they have had in their own parenting, and question, what do I want to keep? Was that just a belief that doesn't serve me today? How do I want to show up as a parent? And what need is that meeting within me? And from that space, meet our child's core needs.
Do you feel that it's a common thing that parents bring their unconscious bias or their issues or whatever it is from childhood and how they were parented, and they bring that back to the present and they subconsciously do the same things over and over again?
Absolutely. My parents did that from their own from my grandparents, and and they project. And I listened. I had no choice. It was their way or the highway. That's the way I was raised. However, today our kids are not seeing that at all. Society, culture isn't saying that you just got to follow your kids, your parents. There's so many other ways that they have, the options that they have. Kids have rights today. I did not have rights growing up. So kids have a different mindset, and they are challenging us to come in alignment with ourselves. So they want to be in alignment with us. They want to choose us, raise our kids as our disciples. And who a disciple is someone who wants to listen to you, who wants to follow your guidance because they trust you and they have confidence in you, and because you have trust and confidence in yourself as a parent and as an individual.
Wow. Okay, that's really interesting. So, how do parents then start to get that inner confidence, that inner self-belief that they can do this and they can thrive at the process?
My quick short answer, sorry, is join my program. That's the exact journey we take our parents on, is that inner journey. It's a journey of what I have modeled out to be a journey from chaos to calm. And the chaos really is the chaos that you see in your homes, the chaos that you feel within you, the chaos is the incongruence. And it's a 5-step journey where you move from that chaos, which is very unconscious, to starting to become aware of what's happening here. Why is my child? What is the need? What is this behavior? And what's sitting under the behavior? And how am I feeding into their pattern? So our kids play out behavior patterns that challenges. And the best short way to change their pattern and behavior is not by telling them what they need to do, but changing how you feed and play part in that pattern.
So that's when the self-awareness comes into it of how you as the parent or the adult operates. So how does then, because obviously there's...
So that's stage 2. From there, we move into stage 3, which is that you start to gain confidence because you start to see how you are. You start to see that you have power in this relationship when you initially thought you were completely powerless. From there, you move into the empowered parent, which starts to focus within themselves, question the past experiences that you have had, emotions that come up within you as your child plays out their behavior. Where is this coming from? Yes, it's being triggered by your child, but the ammunition is sitting within you, and we work with that. So the program is called Emotional Mastery. Parents come out the other side, masters of their emotion, knowing what's come up within them as they interact, as they observe behaviors. So they're no longer playing out old patterns in responding to their kids, but choosing new ways where egos aren't clashing anymore.
Wow, I think
no.
That is so important, because I mean, in a lot of my work with my books and programs, I talk to kids about how they can understand, notice, and then manage their big emotions. But half of that, the other side of that is, how do parents cope with the kids' big emotions? Because the parents are not aware of how to do it themselves. Like anxiety, like, what does anxiety feel like? How do you know it's coming on? And then what can you do with it? If parents aren't equipped to do that, they're not there to help their children navigate that process.
Absolutely.
So
we
what
cannot
you're saying,
give what we don't have.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all about bringing it back to the self-awareness of the parent, isn't it? About getting them to be more aware of who they are and how they think and they feel and how they operate.
Well, the only thing the parent has any control over is themselves. So it's really about maximizing the area of control that they have.
Yeah. So what are the people that you work with, what are they saying to you when they've gone through the 5-step process? What are they saying?
The key word they say is, Yolanda, this is magic. I only worked on me. and my child has changed. My child is doing things that I've always wanted them to do and more. So the key word I get coming back to me, because the parents have been focused on the kids and changing the child's behavior and getting no results over and over again. So it's not this big first, it's magic is what the word is the first word. And I have the biggest smile when I hear one after the other. That's the key word that comes. My partner changed. He wasn't on board. Had so much of clashes with him. So it's a trick that I lure them into the so-called trap that it's parenting.
Yeah.
But really it is all their relationships, and more importantly, it's the relationship within themselves. Under promise, over deliver.
I love that. It's like, because I suppose a parent spends so much time focusing on the child, focusing on the behavior, focusing on trying to change
so much time, so much energy, so much emotions.
But it's the way the parent is interacting in that relationship, and now to try and look back upon them. And of course, I think adults can only thrive when you work upon yourself. I mean, I do a lot of work on myself as well, and I know that, but by being aware of how I think, how I feel, how I react to things, it really empowers me, and then can instantly diffuse a whole lot of situations that could have gone ugly otherwise. And it's something to go, okay, well, it's something I can empower myself. And that's the same thing that you're saying can apply to the parenting aspect.
That's correct. Yeah. It gives us greater control on the energy we bring into the parenting. So our kids are 100% emotion. We think that they are listening to our words. They are in tune with our emotions, with our energy. So my focus on this journey is to get parents in line with that energy and emotion, and parent your kids from that space. It's so much more easier than using words that go to deaf ears and cause greater frustration and irritation in the parents.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. It sounds kind of revolutionary and simple at the same time, doesn't it?
Very simple, because it is our natural state. Joy is our natural state. And the reason why we feel the resistance is because we are not aligned to our most natural state where ease lives. We're meant to be living in ease. That's why it's called ease, but we're doing it hard. And it's hard to do it hard. And parents say, oh, parenting is hard. Well, you've chosen hard. What if it was easy?
I like that.
What if it allowed you the option to be your best self? And to come into alignment with you. Your child is challenging you to come back into alignment with yourself.
Do you think this is I know when I said it's almost sort of revolutionary thinking, do you think in most parenting circles they're discussing this angle, or is it more focused on kids' behavior? Here's a tool you need to do, that sort of thing. Is it changing?
I would like to think that it is changing, because as a race we are raising our consciousness, and there's a lot more thinkers and people with the higher consciousness thinking coming in the circles, like your Eckhart Tolle's, and there's a Brené Brown as well.
Oh, yep.
Coming into, and they're becoming very popular, and most heard podcasts are showing up. So I do believe that parents are needing to have more courage because there's that fear. Oh, what if I can't do this? What if I'm not able to? Does that mean I'm not a good parent? And they just can put it in a harder basket, but really it's meant to be easy. And those who are ready, jump on. So I always say, before a parent comes to me, there's already some work, there's already some awareness already happening.
Yep.
And they just see that I'm the answer to take them there.
Oh, I find it absolutely fascinating, Yolanda. Now, I was going to say, one question I ask all my guests: what lights you up?
When parents say this is magic.
I knew you were going to say that.
I think what lights me up, or did you? Well, I gave that to you. I think what really lights me up is my own relationship with my girls.
Yeah.
So I've got the two girls, and despite the challenges, and you can imagine they're teens, and one's just passed through. We've gone through a lot of challenges, and being a single parent as well. They've brought us closer. Challenges are great to create great relationships, and that's been our perspective, and the way we approach differences and areas where we don't see eye to eye is just it just lights me up how we are consciously creating the relationship that we have, and I'm excited about the parents and the adults of the future that they will be.
No, I agree with that, especially with the kids that I talk to these days. I see a lot of hope for the future, and that makes me feel good. So, Yolanda, how do people get in contact with you after we've spoken about what you do? How do they get in contact?
Yeah. So my group is called the Empowered Parents Group, Josh, and I run a program called Emotional Mastery for Parents. It's a 12-week program, and you could either Google
I'll put the web address
and jump onto my group.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. I'll put your
I'll
website
send you
address
the
down here. There's a links from your website, isn't there?
That's it. There's a link on my website.
Beautiful. Well, Yolanda, thank you so much for joining me and enlightening me to this conscious parenting. I think it's fantastic. It gives me hope for the future. So thank you, Yolanda.
Pleasure. Thank you so much for having me, Josh.